What's going on, everybody? It's Jay Coffee Talk. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. But I want to get right into this. Over the past couple days, I've seen a couple within the blogs, a couple channels and stuff like that. Pictures popping up of the hip hop supergroup Murder Inc. from back in the 90s. Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule. Which is something that gets spoke about from time to time, which I'm speak on right now. But based on that, and just thinking about that, which was, it's kind of a crazy story, but it had me thinking about super groups in hip hop. So I'm gonna go over some super groups that just kind of came up off the top of my head. You guys can get in the comments as always. If you guys are new to my channel, that's what this channel is all about, is hearing from the people in the comments. But let me know your thoughts on the groups that I go over. But also, I'm sure there's super groups out there that I'm forgetting, because like I said, this is just off the top of my head real quick. So make sure you guys comment any groups that you felt were left out of this. So getting back to Murder Inc., I'm sure we've all heard the story. Jay-Z, DMX, Ja Rule, before Murder Inc. was a label, Irv Gotti wanted to get these guys together, as a group, a hip-hop super group. They had collaborated a lot already, dating back to 95. And I believe Ja's album had already came out, but I believe this was after Ja's album had already came out, and they were active. They were on top of the rap game. All of them, XJ and Ja. Like I said, they had a history of collaborating. They all kind of had ties to Irv Gotti in common, and Irv was like really trying to put this thing together. And we've all seen this picture that I'm sharing. It's the same picture that I was saying I've been seeing popping up, recently, where they actually did promo. They promoted this group, for the magazine and everything like that. So I don't know, like, if you guys remember back then, but people were amped for this. I was like, man, this is so dope. Like, these guys are gonna kill it, you know what I'm saying? No one's gonna be messing with this, but they just couldn't put it together. I'm not exactly sure why. There's different stories out there. Some people say there was like some internal beef within, like, the three of them. I'm not sure. Like, you guys get in the comments, let me know your thoughts on it. But they went as far to do this picture, and do this spread in this magazine, but no album. But anyways, they started in 95 on the Mike Geronimo track where they all collaborated. That's 95. That's back, you know what I mean? And the track was, what was the track called? Time to Build, off the album The Natural. Now, if you go and like look up Murder Inc., the super group, you'll see a lot of tracks like listed, as them as a group. But in all honesty, there's really only two tracks where they all are on the track together. Like, a lot of the tracks are just, X and Jay-Z, or Jay and Ja, or X and Ja. There's only two that I really remember, that were the whole group, and only one of them actually, they were referred to as Murder Inc., and that's on the Streets Is Watching soundtrack. They had a song on there, and like I said, they were written like in the track list. It said Murder Inc., and then the other track where they're all together, what was that one called? Grand Finale, off the Belly soundtrack. Also, Method Man was in that song as well with them. But all three, XJ and Ja, were all on that track. But I don't know, man. Like, these dudes made great music together. Some of the other tracks I'm talking about, though, is like Murdergram, A whole bunch of different tracks. Money, Cash, Hoes. I forget what the joint off Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood was. But between the three of these guys, like I said, there's a lot of tracks where at least, you know, two of them are working together. But I only remember them two where it was all of them. But let me know your guys' thoughts about this group. Like I said, if you guys know why it didn't exactly happen, you know, at this time, Murder Inc. wasn't really a label, you know. So this is the way Irv, you know, wanted to move with the Murder Inc., you know, name. You feel me? But I'm moving on, right? Next supergroup. Never, yeah, I mean, I guess they did some music together, but never like officially, you know. And that is the Commission. I'm sure you guys remember, you know, years back, the East Coast, West Coast beef, which in all honesty, to me, was the Bad Boy Death Row beef, you know, the Biggie Tupac beef, but not the East West beef. But you know, the media really pushed that and took it and ran with it. And I don't know, man. I always kind of think about that. Like, man, I mean, I know they were just trying to make them headlines, but they just went too hard with that. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. But we know Pac was dissing the hell out of Bad Boy, out of Biggie, like, and you know, other people on the East Coast too. Jay-Z, Mobb Deep, Nas. You know what I'm saying? Tupac was going in. Well, on the song, what was that? What's Beef? On Life After Death. I forget the exact lyrics, but you know, Biggie is rapping, or like at the end of the track, like naming off the Commission. And you'll hear him say the Commission in other songs. But he's like, you know, the most shady Frankie baby, referring to himself. Jay-Z, Iceberg Slim. Like, each person had, you know, a different name, you know what I'm saying, for as the Commission as a group, you know, and they were all like, you know, like gangsters, you know what I'm saying, like mafioso type dudes for the most part. As we know too, you know, Jay and Biggie, very tight, and Jay still, you know, reps for Big, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so Biggie was, you know, Frank White. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure you've heard him refer to, you know, Frank White or Biggie Smalls as the Black Frank White so many times. Jay-Z, as I said, Iceberg Slim. You remember on that one track on Jay-Z's album on Volume 3, where it's like Iceberg Slim, baby, ride rims, so ghetto, that's what it's called. Lance Rivera was Uncle Paulie. You know, which Un is not a rapper, but you know, Un and Biggie, you know, were really tight. I've always heard, you know, that if Big could have did it over, he would have had rather signed with Un than with Diddy. I'm not positive about that, but I'm inclined to believe it. And he also, you know, had people that he put on getting signed by Un. Who else? Oh, Lil C's, Caesar Leo De Janeiro, Charlie Baltimore. I believe she didn't have, you know, like an alternate name for that group. But like I said, it was supposed to be, you know, the Commission, kind of like the Commission with the mob, the five families, you know, of New York and everything like that, the Dons. And, you know, they, Biggie loved, you know, referring to that gangster, you know, that world of gangsters and in the mob and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? We know how Big was with his rhymes. You know, he told stories, but he always referred to the mob. You know what I'm saying? All these gangsters that they're all named after, as I just said. Now, Pac was going in on them, and, you know, we never really seen a Pac response or diss like that. You know, Biggie, you know, Ready to Die, that debate will always be out there. Was that really aimed at Tupac? I mean, you know, they say he wrote that song so long ago or whatever. It was just some real odd time to release the track. I don't know. Maybe not, though. You know what I mean? You know, if you really didn't do it, it wouldn't seem odd. But I don't know. Pac wasn't feeling it. But and then, you know, the Long Kiss Goodnight or whatever that song is. But, you know, I have to feel like if the commission would have started rocking together, you know, they would have really been responding to Tupac, you know, for the East Coast, standing up for the East Coast. Now, I also remember hearing Busta Rhymes was like affiliated with the commission, or maybe there was someone else in there too. I'm not positive. So, you know, if I'm making mistakes, if I'm forgetting anyone, like I said, tap in the comments on this, guys. Seriously, that's what my channel's all about. If you're new, you know what I mean? That's what we do here. I give you guys my take, my feelings on the topic. You tap in and give me yours, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can get these daily videos. But yeah, man, I really feel like the commission would have stood up for NY. But you know, after Biggie's passing, you know, that was a wrap. That was a wrap for that. So I'm gonna move on to the next super group. Now, I don't know, man. I bet you I'm gonna get mixed reviews on this one. This was a group, if you're, you know, someone, I don't want to say an underground fan, because you know, Canibus is not an underground artist exactly. You know, he did get mainstream exposure, but you know, you guys know how Biss is. He's more about bars and freestyling. We seen him, you know, cross into the battle world when he battled Disaster in that sling, you know, which was a tough loss there. But you know, I believe one of the first to cross over into the battle rap lane. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, I'm not like, you know what I mean, I'm not the most schooled up on battle rap, but I know a lot of y'all are out there. Shout out Real Talk Media. You know, he's a homie, a friend of the channel, and you know, a lot of his fans are heavy into battle rap. You know, as I know, Real Talk messes with it heavy himself. So, anyways, getting back to speaking about this Canibus, you know, we all know the way he came into the game. He was on 4-3-2-1, got into that beef with LL. I think I'm gonna do some content about that whole situation. It was pretty interesting, but we saw them squash the beef in like 2016 after all these years. And you know, there's so many different stories that come off of that situation. So like I said, I think I'm gonna do some content on that on this channel, so stay tuned, y'all, for that. But anyways, on his second album, what was it called? Canibus 2000 BC or something like that, or 2001 BC. There was a track on there called The Horseman, right? And it was Canibus, Rass, Kass, Killer Priest, and Corrupt. And Pharaoh Monk did like the intro. And I'm sure a lot of y'all that are like really into spitters and bars and all that remember this track. They all just went in on it. You know, it was like the 4 horsemen of apocalypse. You know, like out of, you know, the Bible. It was biblical and everything. And, you know, they're just spitting bars, some real hip hop type stuff. I don't know, you know, like Canibus is dope. He definitely don't get the love he deserves, in my opinion. But Canibus, you know, as I say, he's like kind of underground. Like most of the projects he's dropped, you know, he's just done very, very independently. And he just, like, if you want Canibus music, you know, he knows the fans will come and find him. So, you know, a lot of people might not really be up on Canibus like that anymore, or really care about him. But at a time, there was a time where a lot of people were like amazed by Canibus. You know, he was really, you know, like the next big thing to a lot of people. But I don't know, a lot of people feel like he's can be annoying or whatever. I don't know, like they mock the way he flows, and they say he's, you know, like just tries to quote, you know, words out of the thesaurus and dictionary and whatnot. But it is what it is. Y'all can let me know what you guys think about that. But anyways, after they did this track, you know, word was they were a group, you know, and people started talking immediately. This, like I said, this was back in like 2000, 2001 when this album dropped. And you know, I'm a big fan of Corrupt. You know, he's obviously from the West Coast. We all know that. Well, originally from Philly though. But he sometimes, people just lump him into like just strictly as like a gangster rapper or like gang banging rapper, and they really forget like how hip hop Corrupt is. You know, Corrupt's got bars. He'll sit there and freestyle all day. Like, Corrupt is nice, and he does not get the love he deserves. And you know, he's in a lot of side projects like this. Like I said, Canibus, Rass, Kass, Killer Priest, Corrupt. Rass, Kass, we know about him. You know, he's been, you know, touted as being very lyrical himself. He went away and did a bid. Killer Priest, obviously, Wu-Tang Clan affiliate. But, you know, a lot of the, like, real hip-hop heads, the freestyle type dudes were excited for this. But then the project didn't come out for the longest, you know. And they ended up dropping something in 2003, and I believe something in 2016. I forget it. Oh, Historic EP came out in 2014, and the Horseman Project came out in 2003. I've never listened to it. I actually recently was on Twitter discussing the project with someone tweeting about it because I never heard it. And, like, you know, they tagged me on it and they were saying it was trash. I don't know. You know, you guys out there, let me know your thoughts on it. But, you know, they've since disbanded. They're not a group no more. They went on and did their own things. You know, they were all busy doing their own stuff in the midst of it all and everything. So it is what it is. Now, let's move on to the next super group that I'm speaking on here. And that's Black Hippie, you know, Top Dog Entertainment. Been in the game since 09. Ab-Soul, J-Rock, Kendrick Lamar, and Schoolboy Q. All these dudes are dope, man. I don't even have to say much about these guys. I mean, everyone knows who they are, especially, you know, how with Canibus, with the Horseman Project, I had to be like, man, a lot of y'all might not know. Everyone knows who these guys are, you know what I'm saying? They're obviously more current, and, you know, they're very, very popular, very, very skilled, as I was saying. And, you know, they're like a family. They've said, because they don't put out as much music as a group as Black Hippie as you would think they would. You know, when I first, you know, heard that they had group projects coming, like that they were a group as well, you know, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be major. But, you know, they don't really do that much music together. I mean, I'm actually kind of incorrect. They're all over each other's projects, no question, you know. Like, they don't even, when they feature each other on the projects, a lot of times they don't even say featuring such and such, featuring such and such, because they're just fam like that. But as I'm saying, as a group, as Black Hippie, like, they don't really get together and make some music and be like, all right, this is a Black Hippie track, this is the Black Hippie mixtape, this is this, boom, and put it out. I mean, they got 2 projects, I believe, Black Hippie 1 and Black Hippie 2. I don't know, you know, I've heard a few remixes that they get on. Like, you know, I remember they had a remix to the Kendrick Lamar Swimming Pools joint. But these dudes are dope, man. I'd like to see more of them. But as I said, they're saying they'll never break up. They're just fam, you know. Maybe at one point they'll focus more on that group as a group. Maybe not, probably not. And then next group I want to move on and talk about is a group that I hear people now call them trash quite often. And you know, when this group was being spoke about, it was major news in hip hop, man. And that is Slaughterhouse. They got together the same way as like the Horsemen did. They all did a track together called Slaughterhouse that was on Joe Budden's album. What was the album called? Halfway House. I believe it was like back in 09. And you know, we know Joe Budden, he already had his situation with Def Jam and everything. Royce the 5'9", he had his situation, you know, with Eminem, then being signed to like Tommy Boy, I think, like beefing with D12, kind of beefing with Eminem, having issues with Dr. Dre, and just kind of having, you know, like falling off right as he was really, you know, about to put out his own projects and blow up. Joel Ortiz, you know, he's had a tough time in hip hop prior to Slaughterhouse. And of course, Crooked I. Man, Crooked I is like, you know, if you guys listen to Drink Champs podcast, how Noriega always be talking about hip hop needs a government, it needs a flag, it needs a 401k plan, it needs health insurance, all that. What would the logo be, etc. Crooked I definitely would need to be some kind of official, have some kind of title on that board for hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude loves hip hop. He's nice on the mic. He's always like on social media just kicking it, talking about hip-hop music and things of that nature with the fans. You know, he ain't really with all the bullshit. So, you know, he's dope. But anyways, these four came together after doing that track. There was actually another dude on the track, the original track that was on Joey's album. His name was Nino Bless. But, you know, he went his own way. He didn't stay as part of the group. And, you know, they dropped that self-titled, you know, first project back in 2009, which was on Koch, I believe, at the time, which is now E1 Entertainment. You know, it was dope. It was dope. And the first track they put out kind of had like a popish commercial vibe to it too, but at the same time was kind of hard, where they were like spitting some hard bars to it. But it was dope the way they did that, you know, to try to get some airplay and everything like that. And then they had Microphone was on there, Move On, a lot of dope tracks on there. I love that project. But anyways, we all know what happened. Eminem signed them to Shady Records. It was Shady 2.0. We were seeing, you know, pictures everywhere of Eminem with Yellow Wolf and Slaughterhouse. And, you know, it was lit. And then, you know, Royce was back with M. And, you know, everyone was just so excited. Before this happened, everyone was talking about, yo, they need to sign with Shady, blah, blah, blah. And I was one of them people. And they did. We were all excited. But all in all, I don't know. I feel like it turned out to be disappointing, because there was too big of a gap in between when the projects were coming out. I personally, man, I'm an Eminem fan, but M is terrible. He has a terrible track record when it comes to putting artists' music out that are on his label. I'll probably do a video on that at some point too, but I mean, over and over, like, I could just go on and on about the artists that, you know, their music never came out and they left the label, or there was issues, like him and Dre. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they get so caught up in their work that they forget about their artists. Like, I don't know. But anyways, they got signed. They dropped their first joint, Welcome to Our House, in 2012. They had 2 mixtapes. You know, everyone was like feeling the music, but at the same time the people wanted more. But what really became disappointing is we started kind of seeing dissension and frustration between the members of Slaughterhouse. And, you know, we knew it was coming for some time, but I believe it was only like a year and a half ago that they officially all kind of came out and said, yo, listen, that's it. We're breaking up. Glass House is out there and exists, which was their next album. You know, I wish someone would bootleg that joint. I remember Joe Budden saying he wishes he could have bootlegged it. Like, I don't know, it just makes no sense for me that you know, that project is completed, just sitting up on a shelf somewhere, or, well, you know, not in a file in some kind of device somewhere or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying on a shelf. You know, music's digital nowadays, but it's just a shame, man. And I gotta say, it's frustrating to me. I'm not even gonna really keep going in on that one. I like, y'all let me know your thoughts on that one as well. And that just about wraps it up. There's just one more group I want to speak about, and y'all let me know if you guys consider them to be a super group. I don't like Bad Meets Evil. I don't know that it's a group because it's only 2 of them, so it's really a duo. You know, when Slim Shady LP, Royce was featured on there on the track Bad Meets Evil. It was a dope hip-hop track. You know what I'm saying? They were kind of going back and forth at each other, battling. He's bad, he's evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the most baddest, coldest motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And then you know, they said See You in Hell for the sequel, and we did see them, you know, work on other projects together, you know, and refer to themselves as Bad Meets Evil. But we wanted that sequel. We wanted that Bad Meets Evil, you know, album or EP. And then, you know, all the beefs and different things happened, and, you know, Royce and M didn't really get cool until like 2010, I believe, you know. And then we seen Slaughterhouse come back, and you know, him and M finally got back together, dropped that Bad Meets Evil album. I remember, man, Royce the 5'9" back then. Back then was when Twitter was the main thing, you know, rappers were using in the hip hop world, in the rap game. And he said, yo, I got something coming that will dwarf Watch the Throne, after he was spotted, I believe, with Jay-Z somewhere, like at a game or something like that. Baseball game, maybe. I don't know if M was there too. I think he was. But You know, and a lot of people, myself included, was like, yo, he's talking about Bad Meets Evil. It only makes sense that him and Em are back together. The project came out. I liked it. A lot of people didn't, but I don't know that I necessarily consider them a super group. As I said, this is just kind of a bonus discussion about Bad Meets Evil. Y'all can let me know what you guys think. But you know, long hard road for them to put that project out. Many years. What was that? It was like 2010. So what? It was like 11 years. Yeah. And then on top of all that, you know, Bad Meets Evil 2 is said to be on the way. We've been hearing that for like a year, but you know, Royce is normally the one that says something about it. And you know, like we were saying about Eminem, man, he gets caught up in what he's doing. You know, I don't know, you know, he might commit to something, and then when it comes to it, he can't put that project out. He can't, or, you know, he can't put the time aside to work on it, and it seems like that's what's happening with Bad Meets Evil 2, but I believe that project will indeed come out. But that's all I got, guys. You know, Horseman, Black Hippie, Slaughterhouse, maybe Bad Meets Evil. Of course, Murder Inc., The Commission. And, you know, that's just the ones, the super groups that were on my, you know, off the top of the dome. Let me know any, you know, the ones that I left out, you know, and let me know what you think of these ones I did speak about. Like I said, this channel is just all about chopping it up, you know, speaking or kicking it with you guys, debating, you know. Let me know what y'all think. I can agree to disagree. I haven't said that in a while. That used to be a thing I said on my channel all the time. I can agree to disagree, man. I'm not looking for no yes, man. I really want to hear what the people have to say. You know, as long as everyone keeps it respectful. Yo, you can tell me I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. You feel me? But let me know your guys' thoughts on all this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Daily videos dropping. Music, sports, news, current events, much more. And you know, it don't cost you nothing. Just hit them buttons like subscribe, bell. You get the videos when they drop. And you know, let's talk about hip hop and everything else that we cover. I'm out of here. Peace.